what are the first flows that we needed to push out? And I was like, oh, this is cool. Like, I love this conversation. So for us, it was like, okay, well, obviously you're a welcome flow. And so
Yeah,
we can kind of riff on welcome flow for a little bit.
for sure.
I think
I
one of the
love welcome
easiest,
flow. Yeah,
yeah,
it's like brand building, nurturing. It's kind of directly for people that don't know who you are. You know what I mean? So if you're whether you're doing like organic, people are finding you organically through like Instagram and Twitter or whatever. But then also like top of funnel, like acquisition, media buying kind of stuff. People basically driving the traffic to your website and then capturing those people via email and then like, nurturing them, I think is like the best. Like I love the branding component of like, building brands and like e-commerce. And that's one of my favorite components of it. And it's like, you know, I don't know where you're going, like how much we're talking about this, but, yeah, definitely having like communication and like telling the people, about your brand and what it stands for, really the DNA of it. So, I mean, yeah,
exactly.
like this is an awesome topic.
Yeah. So the purpose of the welcome flow is essentially to introduce people to your brand and get them to
Hmm.
kind of make a first purchase, whether that be right away or maybe just they're kind of in the interested phase and they're just checking you out, maybe versus your competitors. I do want to say, like, just stepping back, email as a whole, like, I'm still really kind of constantly surprised, in a good way, that like how powerful an email list still is,
Oh
that
man.
we're coming into 2023, and this has been just a communication system, form of
Yeah.
communication for a long time. And it's just like, it's still so like one of the most powerful methods, because especially today, because you own that,
Hmm.
as long as people are on your list, they're basically telling you that they want to hear from you. And
Yeah.
maybe we can go down that road of like dividing up how they want to hear from you, whether that's promotional or more like newsletter based. But yeah, the welcome email is just a good way to get people to make that first purchase or to introduce them to your brand. So
Hmm.
that's really the purpose of it. And I think one of the things that we see with the welcome series is they're generally too short. There's not enough
Yeah.
emails there.
Yeah, I usually see like three, four, maybe five emails, and then like understanding the psychology behind each email. You know what I mean? Like, I think that there could be very in the very beginning. I really think that like text only is really powerful, especially like right out of the gate. Because typically the way the flow kind of works, the customer journey, if you will, is they land on your website and you can test this in different ways. I think it's depends on like the brand itself, but you could have like a pop-up that comes up within just a few seconds or immediately. We usually do like a ABC test. And then I also like the idea of like the exit intent, is because it's not disrupting the experience of the new person. You know what I mean? So if they're able to kind of look at your website, kind of like when you're going to a store, you kind of want to just browse instead of having someone come up to you, hey, can I help you? It's like, no, I'm just looking. You know what I mean? So it kind of
Right.
feels almost like that, but maybe not quite, because it's like digital and it's like internet, and maybe people are a little used to it. But I know, for sure some people are like, kind of annoyed with the pop up. You get your mix, but I think it's important to test those things. But then, yeah, your first few emails, your first one would be really powerful, being a text only, and coming from the brand, the founder, excuse me, coming from the founder is like really powerful. I know just recently Chase actually, I think it was actually a text message. Like it was so real. I mean, obviously it was real, but it felt like he was texting me. Like it was so
That's
solid.
great.
Like,
Yeah.
yeah. And like I was like, whoa, was he like actually texting me? And like it was like I have to like let him know, like that was like really good copy, really good like approach, just the way he kind of communicated. And like he definitely knows his brand. But yeah, I think having like up to 10 emails, if not even more. Man, I definitely hear people in the space. Um, I follow this guy. His name's John Prince. He's definitely one guy that builds these flows and talks about like 10, 15 email flows, and even I think we all learn from Robert. Isn't that his name, Robert?
Robert Allen.
Robert Allen. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, and so he's like kind of one guy to talk about like having multiple emails in your welcome flow. So I think it's pretty powerful to have it.
Exactly. Yeah. And even on the campaign side for like Christmas, we just sent like a, Merry Christmas. Actually, this one was it was just a thank you for shopping for Black Friday. That's what it was. We've got the Christmas ones coming up.
Nice.
Christmas next week. But yeah, with like Lorenta Nuts, we sent that one that was just text only, and it was like, hey, thank you for shopping during our Black Friday. Like, you mean a lot to us. And then this professor responds and he's like, this is exactly why I shop from you guys and why, I will only come to you when it comes to, getting my, like, these different items, because you guys like are really like thoughtful with your messaging. And I just thought that was really powerful. And I'm glad that Sam shared that with us.
Yes.
Because that's like, I get like enjoyment, that's what we do every day. And you don't always hear back from the customer that, hey, like, we really appreciated this. And they thought it really came from Sam. Like, he helped write it, but like ultimately, he really had like a small hand in it. And
sure.
But I just thought that's the power of like a good, nice text only, email, whether it be on the campaign side or the flow side. It's just, we do love to see a nice, pretty, designed email.
Oh, for sure.
Every now and then you got to kind of balance that out with just something, like you said, from the founder that's, just has a nice, like, thoughtful, like, heartfelt message. Or even something simple as like, whoops, we messed up, like shipping delays or something out of our control. But, kind of having that, the founder is not just completely absent from the brand, they are in it, in the trenches. And so good text only email and a nice long welcome series would be the takeaway there. At least 5 emails. I'd say go up to like 7 to 10, honestly.
I agree. I think messaging is extremely important, just based off of what you're saying with that customer. I mean, email, I think email is like definitely overcomplicated nowadays. But like, if you really kind of systems think it and kind of, break it down to its core components and really like what is email, it's literally just like communicating human to human. That's really all of it. That's what it is. And so if you can remove the robotic, like buy my shit, and like come back to the basics and the foundation of what email actually is. I think the first email, like, I might butcher this. I think it might've been back in the 70s was like technically the first email. So, I mean, email's been around for so long, and it's literally meant for human to human communication. And so if your brand can do that, and if you as a founder can stick with the communication and talk to your customers as if you were literally talking to a friend, like just like how you were saying, like that, oops, I apologize, like the shipping delays, like people make mistakes, humans make mistakes. It's just like normal. But if you don't like show that, like being vulnerable and transparent, that kind of removes the human component out of it. You know what I mean? So if you can implement those types of things, I think it's just, you're just like ahead of the game, compared to all these other brands are doing it.
Exactly. And so, when it comes to like the marketing side, I like how Alex Hormozi kind of breaks it down, where he's like, there's multiple ways of communicating and reaching your audience. There's like one-to-one, which is you were talking about. That's how email started. Now on the marketing side, it's like one-to-many, like where it's a brand reaching out to the full email list or a segmented piece of that, which is, many people, thousands of people. But like you said, I think you hit the nail on the head, where it's like, even if you're doing one-to-many, it should feel like I'm speaking to you. I'm not speaking to a bunch of yous. it's to you, right? This is who that messaging is for. And so you know
Exactly.
you hit it right when you like, oh, did he sent this to me? Like,
Yeah,
that's so
yeah.
cool.
Like it felt so cool. I got like little twinkles. Like I was like, oh shit, damn, Chase is fucking texting me right now. But yeah, it's solid. Just keeping the human to human, the one to one. Personalization is like really powerful when done correctly, you know, and then segmentation, obviously. So it's like a mixture between the personalization, using your name, or even like, you know, we work with some brands, and I've seen, you know, like where you can use that special code inside of your email where it's either says your name, but then default says, hey there, you know, or some brands I've seen say like, hey dude, like, and if it makes
Nice.
sense for your brand to say dude, then do it. You know what I mean? That's like, it's not necessarily calling me by my name, but like my friends call me dude, you know, bro, you know what I mean? Like, that's just kind of part of like the messaging, and,
Brew?
like, the tone. Huh? Brew.
Brew,
Dude, like,
brew.
yes, dude, like I want to start using that. Like, I think it's like South Africa, Cape Town. These guys are calling each other brew, but it's BRU, and maybe like two dots above the U, brew. I don't know for sure,
Okay.
but it's brew. And then like in America, brew is like beer. So I'm calling all my buddies like, you know, beer, which is kind of cool because I love beer. So then I love my friends. So I'm going to start calling my friends brew.
Yeah, I like brew a lot better. Like, I feel like when I hear BRU, it's like maybe we Americanize it and we're like, bruh, that's where bruh
Bruh.
came from. It
Exactly.
took me a while to come around to that. I really hated that, and I never
Yeah.
call anyone bruh, but
Bruh.
I was
Like,
like,
I
is
do
that
it
where
as a
that came
joke.
from? Yeah,
Yeah, right. I'm like,
totally.
bruh. You know, it's kind of a meme thing, you know, like I get a little like carried away
Totally.
with some of my words and noises that I do, but yeah, like being able to personalize that and call somebody brew or bro, or, you know, like I've seen gorgeous depending on the brand. Hey, gorgeous, you know what I mean?
Hmm.
Stuff like that, like little things like that, you know, I think is really
Yeah.
powerful. So